Good evening, everyone. I'd like to talk to you about the agenda for tonight. We'll start off in our normal way with our flag salute. We'll go through announcements, and there's a lot of things going on in the city right now. So we'll be talking about quite a few of those issues. Then minutes of our last meeting, as you know, were abbreviated, and because somebody decided to take a vacation, the videos didn't make it out last month. So coming this month, you'll have all of those videos with the rest of the material. Tonight, we'll start off to talk about the new Los Angeles County Stormwater Runoff Initiative. And the gentleman is here from who is an assistant division engineer, and he's going to tell us all about it. Donna Nuzzi was supposed to be here to talk about CERT classes, but she called and she's ill this evening, and so we're going to move that presentation to after the library services, and then Rick Drew will come up and tell us about the CERT classes. Then from Friends of the Library, we'll talk about library service in Santa Clarita, and this particular presentation is going to just simply deal with what services are available today. We're not going to talk about library dollars or costs. And let's just see what's going on with the library and how things are working. Then lastly, a little story about water and your water bill. And I noticed this last few months that my water bill was on a steady increase, and I wasn't making any changes to the way I was running my system. So I'll tell you a little bit about the fun and frolic I had with CLWA, a discussion of how to read your meter, and then how to test your meter. And I've actually went through that whole process to verify the accuracy so that now I can go chase down the problem if it turns out to be in my system. Next, our version of public participation. If you want to address the group, just see Merle in the back, and you'll get a minute at the end of the meeting for the first 5 people that sign up. Then a preview of the August meeting, the September meeting, not the June meeting, the September meeting, and then we'll adjourn the meeting and we'll try to be right on time. Well, I thought that you guys would probably want to see a whole slideshow of my vacation. But somehow I felt like that might not, in total, meet the needs of the group. But I went to my 3,800 mile motorcycle trip. I visited such places as Mount Rushmore, the Crazy Horse Memorial, and a motorcycle dealer in Casper, Wyoming, when I had a little failure, and we had to do a little repair work, and I found out that the most important tool you can take with you on any trip is your credit card. But there is one place that I visited that I did want to talk to you a little bit about, and that was the Little Bighorn National Monument. We went into Montana, and we saw history come alive in discussing what happened at Custer's last stand. And in that battle, Custer learned a very valuable lesson that I'm sure is being discussed at West Point even now as we speak. Each cadet really gets a good first-hand little bit of knowledge about that. And that is, if you're going to take 320 cavalry officers, and it's never a good idea to attack an encampment of 20,000 Indians. But as it turns out, when we discussed this and we talked about this battle, only a third of Custer's troops were wiped out at Custer's last stand, and a good portion of his troops survived about a mile away up on top of a hill. And it was very interesting. We had a Crow Indian guide who was very, very good at being objective of how the battle went and what went on about it. The black arrow there, by the way, at the Custer Memorial, the place where every soldier and Indian fell, is marked. This happens to be Last Stand Hill, And I have the arrow pointing to that particular marker, which has a special black insignia on it, because that is where Custer did fall. But the most important and impressive thing about this memorial and national park that I really didn't realize is that the Little Bighorn National Monument and National Park is a part of the American National Cemetery System. And this, by the way, is a picture of the cemetery ground. And when I first got there, I looked at it and I saw all those tombstones. I thought, there couldn't have been this many guys in that battle. Well, there weren't. What this is a cemetery that honors our veterans. It has veterans buried there from the Sioux War, from the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, and Korean War. It's now full, by the way, and there will be no more additions to it. But it goes to prove that no matter where you go in the country, you find there are heroes all around us, and you find that there is a remembrance of those heroes, and it's absolutely a good thing that we understand what they've done for us, and we honor their memory. So with that, Judy, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. For announcements, I'm sure that all of you have heard by now that our city clerk, Sarah Gorman, is leaving for a new job in Santa Monica. I thought it was interesting. This is the Signal article about it. And as you can tell, the Signal always verifies the absolute accuracy of everything they publish. So under the picture of her, it says that she's leaving on September the 4th, and in the text it said she's leaving on August the 17th. But in any event, she is going to Santa Monica, and Sarah will get paid $160,000 for that job in Santa Monica. Salary here in Santa Clarita per clerk is between $87,000 and $106,000. So if we get a chance at the next council meeting, say goodbye and wish Sarah all the best of luck in her new activities. Last month, I told you about the Canyon Country Business Owners, or Merchants Owners, Canyon Country Merchants Association. And the Canyon Country Merchants Association meets the second Tuesday of the month. And they are actually starting to make a difference already. And it's a good thing because, you know, the city pays a lot of attention to the merchants in the city. So one thing that we noticed is that there is going to be an event leaving out of Route 66. And it's not that I expect all of you guys to jump on your Harley and join this event, but it actually is a group that sponsors this boot campaign. What they do is it's a veterans group. It's a group that sponsors veterans and sponsors living situations for veterans. And the way they do it is, for the most part, they sell combat boots. And they ask you, you know, on certain days to wear combat boots because our veterans and our service people are wearing combat boots. And the profit from that goes to building homes for vets. Right now, they're going to have a ride out of Route 66, honoring the military. It is going to be on August the 26th. It's actually limited to 400 people, and it's very expensive. It's actually costing $150 a rider. But for the first time in an event like this, the city has taken notice, and you'll see it advertised in the city press releases, and the city will be supplying sheriff services. So it's a good thing because all of a sudden now, the Merchants Association are pushing this. We're seeing the city start to react and start to help us on our side of the city as they have been in Valencia. I think you've seen different articles in the paper. One was a press release from the Sheriff's Department talking about crime decrease in their area of enforcement. And they're starting to publish directly the information that they send to the FBI archives. Those are that's the data that all of the crime statistics that the city publishes comes from. You might have also seen that on in SCV News that there was a discussion about violent crime increasing. And I've seen other articles in other places of saying, well, that's not really true. So I think what we really need to do is we're going to take another look at crime statistics, and we'll look at them over a period of, say, 10 or 12 years, and we'll start trying to make an assessment of what this actually means. Because right now there's a big argument going on between the different news organizations of what these statistics are telling us and how things are going. But the one thing I know, Captain Becker is on it, and I think he's been the best sheriff's captain we've had, and so it'd be interesting to see what he comes out and says in that area. Code enforcement focus groups. We talked about the survey from code enforcement about what you thought was the right thing to enforce, how many days you thought graffiti should stay up, and we went through all of those different questions. Well, now comes time for the focus group. And what they've been doing is they've been sending out invitations to this in groups of 10 invitations or 15 invitations at a time. And as far as I know, there's a focus group meeting on August the 29th and August the 30th. I haven't heard from anybody that said they were meeting on any other than those 2 days. So I called in and talked to the secretary. I got an email back from Curtis Williams, and he told me that those focus groups will be meeting, and they're going to be meeting to discuss UDC changes related to enforcement, not necessarily UDC changes related to standards. So it's going to be interesting. They're going to be taking feedback. I don't really understand what the process is going to be, but hopefully most of you have signed up for this, and we'll be able to go down there and voice our opinions about how we think the code enforcement officers should operate. It's not too late to participate. They wanted RSVPs by the 20th, but I say if you have not said that you want to participate and you do, email them and ask. If they turn you down, send me an email, I'll ask. Because I think anybody that wants to participate should be able to participate. I think this is probably the epitome of problems with code enforcement today, is the tennis courts that were built in Happy Valley. I think for the most part that's been in the paper a lot. But what happened is next, behind two houses, a gentleman built a tennis court with 15 high-foot fences and lighting all around it. And it about cut off the view of all of his surrounding neighbors. And of course now all of his surrounding neighbors are complaining they're getting tennis balls in their yard all the time. So the city had claimed that the gentleman did not follow the plan. And they've been playing with this for about a year. And nothing really seems to have happened. So finally, the property owners have sued the city. And then the city turned around and sued the tennis court owner. So we're going to see how this works. And Hunt Brawley is now representing the tennis court and claims that he thinks there's going to be a quick resolution, but I doubt it. So let's see how what happens here. But the thing that you should realize is that, number one, if in fact there was a set of plans, how did the plans get approved? If in fact there was the plans were approved, how did the construction get signed off if it didn't meet the plan? Then if both of those things occurred, why is it taking a year to get at it? So we're going to watch this, and it's an indicator of the difficulties the code enforcement guys go through when they work on minor things, and what happens when there's a larger thing. I know there was a home down the street from me that had this fence in disrepair. It only took them 2 years to get that fixed. So let's see what happens, and let's watch what goes on. Public library, we'll probably have a little bit of a discussion about that. They're asking for a donation, and you can be a sponsor of the Old Town Newell Library. We're gonna sponsor one of the chairs, but at the same time, it's interesting because they're looking for opportunities between $50,000 and $10,000. I promised tonight I wouldn't talk about the library in relation to money, but if we're asking for donations of $10,000, can't help me make me think they're running out of money. Celebrating Youth Sports Festival. City of Santa Clarita is inviting kids to attend the Celebrating Youth Sports Festival. If you have children or grandchildren that might like to attend, it's going to be on the 18th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's a free event. Just contact the sports office and tell them you want to be there, and they'll give you more information about it. Via Princesa East Extension Draft. Now that was an issue that some of our members were very interested in, and so now they're going to talk about the environmental impact report related to extending Via Princesa to the east. It's going to be on Thursday, September the 6th and 27th at City Hall in the Century Room. So if you have an interest in that particular project, it would be a good thing to go to and express your opinion. The Climate Action Plan is also going to be discussed. It'll be discussed at the August 28th City Council meeting. I'm betting that unless somebody in the audience wants to talk about it, it will be on the consent calendar and nothing will be discussed. But if you went to the Climate Action Plan workshops, as we did, you'll find you would know that this particular Climate Action Plan is very interesting because what it is, it's an analysis between what would happen in the future if construction continued with the old general plan as compared to the One Valley, One Vision plan, and that difference is what they're claiming to be the improvement. And according to Peterson at the last meeting, he indicated that the state had already accepted their rationale. I think it's also interesting that this invitation came out early. They did not wait for 3 days before the meeting took place. Yet the actual report won't be put online until the Thursday before the City Council meeting, which would be not this Thursday, but next Thursday. There was also an invitation to discuss the congestion management compliant resolution and local implementation report, whatever in the world that is. Anyway, the announcement was published on August the 7th. I think that's really great that they're putting it out early. But at the same time, I went and I emailed in to Mr. Hunter and said, hey, could I see the report? I said, well, you can't really see the real report until the Thursday before the City Council meeting. And I just don't know why they continue to hold off and not want to talk about those things real early. But he did tell me that the plan basically is the same as last year's plan, except for some of the analysis numbers in it. And this is required for the city. The city has to present this each year so they can get their share of gas tax. So if you're interested, ask questions about that on September the 28th. Chloride update. Well, remember last month I told you I called down there and said, where's our chloride update? Where's our EIR? Where's our preliminary EIR? What happened to it? And they said, well, sorry guys, but we've had so many questions that we can't make the date we said before. So this month I got an official letter from them, and it said basically the same thing. Due to the large number of very significant comments, additional technical analysis must be performed, and once we have an updated schedule, we'll all work with you to schedule briefings for you and your organization and let you know the public meeting schedule. I'm going to be after them again next month, and we'll see what happens. I also am going to be after them again about asking them what happened with the survey that we spent $350,000 for. What are the results of that? So we're going to ask those questions, and I'm going to give Mr. Freese a call. And I noticed, remember last time when he sent letters, he sent us letters and he said, well, you know, I think I had someone else write it. Well, this time I thought it was really interesting because it says it's from him, but then it shows who it's written by, and then he signs it underneath. I don't know. Maybe they don't give good typing classes at the department head level. Okay. Here was something very interesting about chloride. There was a tour on August the 7th. It left City Hall, and it was put on by the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board. And they went on this tour because they were going to show everybody what the Newhall Ranch area, what the Newhall Ranch plan was for building their water treatment plant. Now, Spence let me know about this. I was still in the days from getting back from vacation, and I messed up on the dates, so I didn't get to go. But what did happen was he sent me the agenda. And how many times have we asked, we've gone to our council members and we've asked them, hey, if the LA Quality Control Board, Water Quality Control Board says we've got to comply with something, how do we protest? How do we say we don't like this, we don't want to do this? And they kept saying, these guys are infallible. They've been appointed. There's no process in the world to go do this. Absolutely not. I mean, once they say something, it's gospel. And by the way, I'm going to get you those quotes on video for the next meeting. Well, guess what? At the last item on the water board agenda was this little comment. It was how to challenge the regional water board activities. So evidently, there's a code, a California code section, 13320, that gives you the ability to seek review by the state water board of anything that the regional water board does. What a surprise. I'm wondering how many times our guys have used that process to protest the kinds of things they said they didn't like. So we'll be doing more research about this, and you can bet that we're going to go and we're going to talk to our members of the sanitation district and ask them why we didn't hear about this. I remember when one sanitation board member asked the city attorney, well, there's no recourse, isn't that right? And the city attorney shakes his head, yes. Well, I guess he doesn't read the law either. So we'll work on it and see what's going on. This is probably the worst thing I could think of happening here in the Santa Cruz. You guys see this in the paper? It says, for the first time ever, the senior center has had to refuse meals to seniors. We didn't have enough money. Anybody that thinks that the new health care plan is not going to be rational when they run out of money, all you got to do is look at this for an example. All right? Now, did this come as a surprise? Was this something that happened out of the blue? Absolutely not. If you went to the city council meeting on June the 12th, Karen Hudson got before the city council and said, we're about to run out of money for feeding our seniors. Can you help us? And Ken Polskamp, in his normal ways, commented regarding, and this, by the way, is word for word, out of the minutes of the meeting. So Ken Polskamp commented regarding the increase in money that the city has given the senior center to help fund programs, and slated that the city is working regularly with the center to find ways to ensure successful programs, said absolutely nothing about the problem. But that's kind of normal. Councilman West and Keller commented that regarding staff is working with the senior center on big picture items. And return the council with further information. And I'm not going to go through the rest of it. But at the end of it, Councilman Boyson said, give them $5,000. We got plenty of money. Take it out of the discretionary fund, give them $5,000 so that they don't run out of funding for the seniors for meals. And Keller said, hey, let's wait. Let's wait another month until more information has been obtained. So by golly, we've waited. And now we know what happened. Nothing. So I'm going to be talking with Councilman Keller and some of the other council members who want to know why this situation is occurring, because I think that's the worst thing that could happen. The concerts in the park, anybody been going there? Having a good time? Oh, there was a hand went up. Anyway, we got 2 more this year, August the 18th, the Banditos of Love, and Wanted on the 25th. So we still have an opportunity to go have a little bit of fun at the park. Lastly, I got this email from some people that were very high on this because this is going to be the first debate of the big election campaign here in Santa Clarita. And I like it because it's going to be head-to-head between Edward Headington, who is the Democratic candidate, and Scott Wilk, who is the Republican candidate. And I think any time that we can get them D's and R's out there talking to each other back and forth, man, that's a good thing to do. That's August the 21st. Unfortunately, it is at the Valencia Country Club, and it's being held by the Valley Industry Association, and it will be at their August lunch. So if you want to go, if you sign up right now, it's only going to cost $45, and if you sign up later, it'll be $50. But we'll see what's going to happen. Hopefully, it gets on video. Statistics, we've been bouncing around a little bit. I fully realize that our attendance is probably a little down because of that we right now are air conditioning deprived, and hopefully that situation will get cleared up shortly, and we'll be better. But we're still holding our own. Video statistics stayed pretty consistent. There was none from last month because we didn't publish any, but we'll be back in business again next time, and we'll keep watching these video statistics. I got a call today. I thought it was very interesting because I've had people ask me, hey, sometimes you only get 30 views or something like that. Is it really worth doing? And I got a call from a gentleman who was on vacation in Minnesota, and he said, there's a lot of times I can't make your meetings. I watch these things. So I think, you know what? If we got 30 people that watch them, that's plenty. And we know that sometimes when it's really interesting, that bounced up to 110. So we'll keep pushing this and see what happens, and we'll keep tracking it. All right, so our next meeting in September, hopefully we're going to have we're going to try to get Crime Survivors Incorporated up here. Our own Nadine Teeter is a participant in that group, and I think it's a very worthwhile organization, and they do a lot to help people that have been victims of crime. Also, by that time, we should be able to talk about the Code Enforcement Focus Group, what they're talking about, and what they're doing. And I hope to have an update for you on the chloride issue, the survey, the EIR, and the protest process. And that's the protest process of the Los Angeles Regional Water Board to the state. So again, I'd like to thank you for choosing to come to the Canyon Country Advisory Committee meeting, to spend the evening with us, air conditioning deprived, kind of in the back in the raw situation. And I hope to have air conditioning and seeing you guys back next month.